Brendan Rodgers claiming the FA Cup and the Premier League were always his priority. Certainly looked that way, Perry, when we got the team sheet yesterday, and it didn't include Maddison, who was injured, but also Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, that would be even more reason to include Harvey Barnes. I know people were saying about, he's had a lot of games and maybe he was resting him, but you should always prioritise your next game, not a game that's 2 or 3 down the line. And with Harvey Barnes is 23, right? And if you look at his stats, Sam, he's played 31 games this season, right, at 23. Yeah. So if he plays all of the domestic games, they've got maybe 3 left in the FA Cup if they win it, and then 13 in the Premier League. So he'd end up playing 47, 48 games this year. That's nothing for a 23-year-old. And the form that he's in, and he's you've seen a lot of him live, he's quite a robust character, isn't he, physically?
He's built in a very stocky way, isn't he? Yeah. Although he's very fast and he almost whip it like in that he can sneak into tight areas, but he is quite he's broad-shouldered. Yeah,
and he's played in the Championship, so he's used to like the physicality, which the Premier League is probably a bit quicker, but not as physical. So I just think with Brendan Rodgers, to say, I don't think they're in that position that they could prioritise, because why wouldn't you want to go and try and win the Europa? I just think it was complacency from him, and then that subconsciously goes into complacency into his players.
I felt that the players were off the pace last night. I must admit, I was watching the game and I thought they weren't as sharp as they usually are. The passing was off. I mean, a couple of times Solanke played balls out into the wing positions and they were just completely off radar. There was just a little bit of a lack of zip about them. Slavia Prague played the game quite well, actually. I thought they had a bit more energy than Leicester, and you don't usually associate them with opponents of Leicester, that the opposition has a higher degree of intensity.
But if you're going to, like, Harvey Barnes is 23, what I said before. Jamie Vardy's 34, and he still played. So if you're going to rest somebody, don't you rest the 34-year-old? I just think that complacency then seeped into the Leicester play. If you look at the Seema, the second goal for Slavia Prague.
What a goal it was, though. It was a really good goal.
It was a great goal, Sam, but no one goes to closing down. That urgency where you go and close down, I think it was Solanke you mentioned was close. I think Thomas was close. If you're playing at that proper intensity, mentally and physically, you go and close that ball down. So that complacency...
Solanke's attempt to block it was really lethargic and half-hearted, wasn't
it? I would be thinking, if there's a player that gives you, when you said they was lacking energy and tempo, a player that gives you that is Harvey Barnes. That's what he does, whether he gets the ball and runs at people or he makes runs off people. So Brendan Rodgers just got it completely wrong. And it's hard to get out of that lethargy. Once you're in it, it's hard to turn that around. The reason that Unai Emery got the PSG job because he won 3 Europa Leagues with Sevilla, didn't he? So then what he does, it raises your profile. Do you know what I mean? And obviously he did fantastic with Celtic, where he won trophies, but, that's like a 2-horse race. Well, it is now. It wasn't sometimes when he was there. But you need that trophies on your CV for your winning mentality, and that you can prove that you can get a group of players over the line. At the moment, with Brendan Rodgers, domestically and obviously in Europa League, he hasn't got a group of players over the line to win a trophy. No.